Presenting your one-stop shop for SEO and virtual assistant services. SEO, GMB, link building, content creation, web design, virtual assistants, and more. Rank Fortress SEO and VA Agency. Enjoy 40 to 70 off for our services. Rank Fortress SEO and VA Agency. The best white label platform for SEOs, agencies, and freelancers.
So let's go ahead and get started, guys. So once again, my name is William. I have over 20 years of SEO experience. I'm one of the owners of Rank Fortress Academy, but beloved wife is the co-owner as well. We live here in the Philippines. We live in Surigao City. We have an agency of over 70 staff. Okay, they're not virtual assistants. I do not hire anywhere else. I only hire in the Philippines. We're helping the Filipino people. Okay, that is our goal. My wife used to be an OFW, so that's why I'm so passionate about helping Filipinos, okay, versus helping another country or helping other people, okay? We're all about helping the Filipino people. That's why we have 70 plus staff. Yes, we're constantly hiring, so if you would love to work with us, come by the office. We're in Paroque 1 Mabuat, and just drop off your resume or email it to me at william@williamjonesmarketing.com. Every day, Monday through Friday, we have classes. We have classes live talking about virtual assistants, and that's in the evenings. And then we have classes live in the mornings talking about white label SEO. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to get started today. We're talking about, if you will, pricing and virtual assistants. All of these replays are in the back end of Rank Fortress Academy. Where can I find Rank Fortress Academy? Go to rankfortress.com. Click this big, beautiful button that says Rank Fortress Academy, join for free. And this is Rank Fortress Academy. We constantly are getting memberships, which is amazing. We have 3 classes right now, okay, which is all free. One's on junk removal SEO, because my favorite niche is junk removal. Virtual Assistant Mastery, and White Label SEO Mastery. Every piece of the course is inside of each of these. Okay, they're free. We also have inside Rank Fortress Academy plans for everything from teaching graphics, web design, go high level, off-page SEO, GSEX, CloudSex, etc. Everything you could possibly imagine, we will be teaching it inside the Academy. So make sure to go join the Academy. And once again, you can do that by going to rankfortress.com, clicking that bid reg button. If you ever want to talk to me about virtual assistants, click speak to William and gladly do it. If you ever want to know what type of virtual assistants we have, click on the button right here where it says virtual assistants. This is some of my team, and here's all the types of virtual assistants we have. We have a ton of them, and I will be showing you the type of services, etc. we offer as far as what virtual assistants can cover. If you love this spreadsheet, or if you'd like my free ebook on how to find, hire, and manage virtual assistants, click right here where it says resources, virtual assistants, and download that free ebook, or simply message me below and say, hey, I want that damn free ebook, William. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started, right? In today's video, excuse my throat today, guys, because I don't know why coffee gives me some phlegm in the morning, and I love coffee. So right now I'm drinking water just to wet my throat, guys. So module 1 recap, we're talking about introduction to virtual assistants and outsourcing, understanding the virtual assistant industry. So far, what we have covered is what is a virtual assistant? And yes, that may seem stupid to have to go over, but I have had people ask me, what the hell is a virtual assistant? Isn't that some kind of robot? No, man, it's an actual living human being. I know it's unfathomable in this digital age with AI that we still use human beings, but yes, we do. Even with AI, you still need operators, okay? Even if you have them using in your entire business, you're still going to need operators, all right? Number 2, we went over why hire a VA from the Philippines. William, why did you choose the Philippines? Well, number 1, I married a Filipino. Number 2, We went over that and talked about how great their English is and the fact that they're culturally aligned with Western world, etc. And 3, the lesson for today is cost savings, business growth potential. Why do people like using virtual assistants in the first place? To save money, bro. It ain't nothing else. They usually outsource to save money or increase their bottom line. So we're going to go over cost savings and business growth and potential. All right. Are you spending too much money in-house employees? This is a question you need to ask yourself. Number 2, second question you need to ask yourself, do you want to scale or grow your business exponentially without increasing costs? That is the holy grail of all business. You know, when you're starting a business, you're like, how can I grow this son of a bitch without increasing my, if you will, without increasing my overhead too much, right? So Western countries usually wind up wanting to outsource, whether that's back end, email, customer support, like when we were dealing with companies like Comcast, etc., or is it on-page SEO, off-page SEO, or web design, etc.? All right. Virtual assistants offer an affordable and efficient way to manage business operation because it reduces overhead costs and improves quality and productivity, and you can scale, which means this. If I run Google Ads and I have 1,000 people that fill out a form and I close 10% of those, that's 100 people. How many of you can actually take on 100 new clients right now? And the answer is most agencies cannot. They cannot without being able to use outsourcing or virtual assistants or remote workers. Thus, people use Rank Fortress to get virtual assistants to help them scale. Companies worldwide are doing it. So we're going to explore how a virtual assistant can help you save money and drive business growth. This is just some of my staff. This is one of my rooms. You can actually see my studio back here. It's one of my studios in the right-hand corner here. And this is just some of our staff, okay? The rise in demand of virtual assistants really skyrocketed right after the pandemic, because right after the pandemic, everybody goes, when the pandemic hit, oh shit, we can't come into work. What do? A lot of people started working remotely across the world. Not only that, but then people and bosses and people that are running businesses go, hey, shit, we got to let people work from home. And if we're going to do that for our people, we might as well start hiring remotely in other countries and save money. So businesses have increasingly shifted to remote work and outsourcing to cut costs. So cut costs, and we'll go over that. We'll go over pay and stuff of that nature. So key statistics, businesses save up to 78, almost 80% in operational costs and overhead by hiring VAs instead of full-time employees. Why? Because you're not having to pay taxes on your employees, workman's comp, FICA, all that shit you got to pay in the United States, health insurance, bonuses, all that shit. So most of them will outsource because they're trying to cut those costs. The global outsourcing market is valued at, this is a multi-billion, not million, billion-dollar industry, and it is rapidly growing. It is not going anywhere. I don't care what people tell you. They're telling you about the AI revolution and all that BS. It is a 92 billion, get that through your heads, dollar industry. 50% of all small businesses, this ain't even including medium or large size businesses, have been reported to be using virtual assistants. 50%, that's mind blowing, okay? VAs are a game changer, not just for the big boys, they also a game changer for the small business owner. Why? Because we make things more efficient for them. The high cost of traditional hiring. I actually, believe it or not, for 6 years, I did all the job resumes, I did all the filtering, and I did it when I was in a medical facility. On top of doing marketing, I was also helping Angie. She was our operations manager, or if you will, HR at the facility. We had over 100 people. I had to filter through people, get them in for interviews and all this. I could tell you that when you're hiring, it is expensive. expensive, bro. Expensive. I remember my boss, I was like, he's stressed out all the time. I used to wonder why he's so damn stressed out. Then I found, well, this is how much he's spending every damn payroll. And here's all the expenses when you hire employees in-house. But we were in a medical field, so we kind of had to, because you got doctors and nurses and everything. But there are areas, even in the doctor field, that you can outsource, okay, such as customer service and email, etc. So salaries and benefits, that's one of the highest costs of traditional hiring. Full-time employees require fixed monthly pay, health insurance, retirement contributions, FICA, and all, workman's comp, and a bunch of other taxes that the government of the United States likes to slap business owners with. Then you also need office space and equipment. It gets really fucking expensive when you need, let's say, 20 computers in-house in the United States. Let's say an average decent computer will cost you about $800. That's expensive. That's ain't going the office, the internet, the wiring, all that stuff. Okay. Training and onboarding. So once you hire someone, you now have to train them. You have to onboard them. You have to spend money on training them and trying to retain them. One of the biggest expenses when you are hiring people and you have employees in the United States is, are they going to stick around? How long are they going to stick around? 1 month, 2 months, 1 year, 2 years, and then I got to do constant training with them. And if they're not, that's generally why their operations suck. Okay. Fourth, not final, but paid leaves and bonuses. You're out sick, I got to pay you. You want paid vacation, I got to pay you. Incentives and other things that all increase the cost of having an employee. Maybe you think, well, okay, they're paying them, let's say, $60,000 a year or $40,000 a year. That's not the only expenses. You got all these other expenses that pile up. So that one employee will wind up costing you well over $100,000 in training, office space, salaries, paid leaves, and bonuses and incentives. And it's insane. I talked to someone recently and they were telling me how many in-house staff they have and how much they're spending. This was an SEO niche and it was over $300,000 just in salary. I'm like, dude, I can get you the same amount of staff. Mind you, this is only 20. Okay, I can get you the same amount of staff for like $40,000 a year. Cheap, okay? How virtual assistants help cut costs? No office costs for you because VAs are working remotely. No employee benefits are required. Am I saying you should not give them bonuses and stuff like that? No, I'm not saying that. If you want to be a leader and a good boss, you should probably give them bonuses and incentives, okay? You don't have to, all right? You don't have to. You don't have to do insurance. You're not going to have the government fees. You're not going to have FICA and, workman's comp like we do in the United States. You're not going to have to deal with 13-month pay. I pay 13-month pay because I am here in the Philippines, okay? There are some people that I know still give their employees 13th-month pay because, dude, it's a couple of $100. It's nothing, okay? It is something when you got 70 staff like I do, but when you got a handful, it's a totally different situation. Number 3 is flexible work arrangements. You can pay by hour, part-time, full-time, or on a project basis. So it's very flexible. Whereas in the United States, it's usually you need someone, it's either going to be part-time or full-time, not by hour, okay? Reduce training costs. That's number 4. So you're not having to train people. So when someone comes to me, they're coming to me and they're coming to me for managed virtual assistants, which means I'm handling everything from the 13th month pay all the way to training and managing them and making sure they're doing their job right. We do training on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis because we deal mainly with digital agencies. So we got to stay on top of Google's algorithm and our game. Now, if you try to hire a virtual assistant on your own, you're going to have to go through the process of hiring and learn how to do that. But you'll be able to still find virtual assistants that are amazing, okay? And you won't have to train. You will have to talk to them because you got to think virtual assistants don't see you every day like a regular staff member or an employee. So they got to get to know you and know what you like and what your expectations are. This is as basic socializing and communication and business management and leadership. Okay. So one of the reasons why I say the number one skill business owners need if you want to have a thriving business is leadership. Not how to be a boss, not how to, if you will, own a business. It is leadership and mindset. Okay. Number 5, pay for productive hours only. Like, when are they actually getting shit done? That's what you're paying for. There are so many times, and I can't tell you how many times when I was managing before, where people are clocking in at 9 to 5, but guess what? They're not productive that whole time. They're not actually working. Sometimes they're on their cell phones. Sometimes they take their cell phones to the bathroom. Sometimes they're chit-chatting with other employees and staff. Here, for instance, we take away all cell phones. No one has cell phones in the office on working hours. They can have them on breaks. We have 2 breaks a day, and then we have lunch. During those times, they get their phones back. They turn in their phones to HR as soon as they walk in the door. How many of you can say that for this, if you will, in the United States? No, can't do it, and they won't do it. People will still be on their cell phones even though they're not supposed to in the United States. Not here in my joint. If you do, you get an IR. All right, so next. What is the cost comparison of a virtual assistant or remote worker versus in-house? So salary for an in-house employee can be $3,500 plus a month. That's on the low end, okay? Virtual assistant can be anywhere, and I should have changed this, but can honestly be anywhere from, like with us, from $200 on up to about $1,500, depending on what you're looking for. But we have virtual assistants that you can honestly pay less than $1 an hour, depending on how many blocks of hours you get. The more hours you pay for up front, the cheaper your price is going to be. That don't happen in the United States, bro. You can buy 1,000 hours or you can buy 1 hour, and it's still going to be the same. But with us, more hours you buy, cheaper it gets. Now, if you go online and try to find your own virtual assistant, you're looking for about $600 to $1,500. But with us, it's anywhere from $200 to $800 to about $1,000. We don't sell too many of the 1,000. That's at the executive level. Okay. Office rent and utilities for a small office in the United States. I mean, when I say small office, I'm talking one room. That's about it. That's about it, bro. $500. Now, if you want an actual office building with multiple offices, you're talking about $4,000 to $5,000 a month. Virtual assistants, zero cost. Equipment and software, at minimum $1,000 in the United States. Virtual assistant, zero cost, because they have the, if you will, software. That's what you're paying them for, right? Now, benefits, insurance, bonuses, paid leave, $800 plus, at least, okay? Virtual assistants, nothing. Total monthly cost, you're going to be paying that in-house employees a minimum of $6,000, around thereabout. In a virtual assistant, anywhere from $600 to about $1,100, $1,500. Potential savings is over $5,000 a month per staff member. So let's just say you run a business and you have just 10 staff, right? Just 10. So just 10 staff is going to cost you about $50,000 a month. Right? I mean, yeah, $50,000 a month, which is going to wind up being over $500,000 a year. That's insane. You can't be profitable like that when you're a small business trying to grow a company and be profitable. Right? Business growth potential with virtual assistants. You get access to global talent. You're not limited to one geo-specific area. When I'm looking for skilled talent and I live in the United States, I can only get so much talent in my city. And then a lot of times you have to start looking in other cities and other states. And then this is where people start, well, let me look in other countries. Okay. Business owners can focus on strategy and growth. So it frees up your time when you hire virtual assistants. It also increases your efficiency because tasks are handled by experienced and skilled professionals. Therefore, you can expand your operations, get more work done without additional expenses, and dedicated managed VAs can increase your client communications. So here's some essential tasks that virtual assistants can handle. And I'm going to show you my spreadsheet, but administrative, social media, e-commerce, bookkeeping, graphic design, tech, and IT support, right? That's just one part. Then our staff, our virtual assistants at Ring Fortress, for example, we can handle lead generation, go high level, Facebook ads, Google ads, social media management, graphic design, video editing, content writing, email marketing, branding, data entry, web design, e-commerce virtual assistants for e-com businesses, Google Business Profile, Google Maps, local SEO, if you will, on-page SEO, off-page SEO, and then, of course, virtual assistants. If you would like this spreadsheet, just comment below, hey, Bill, William, can you give me that spreadsheet? And I will gladly give you that spreadsheet. All right. So let's go back to our presentation. So they can handle a lot of stuff, right? So how to get started with virtual assistants. Step one, you need to identify what tasks you're looking to outsource. A list of work that can be outsourced. Everything from email, customer service, phone support, appointment setting. Is it go high level or CRM management? Is it lead nurturing? Is it your web maintenance? Is it on-page SEO, off-page SEO? Is it marketing, social media management? There's thousands of things that a virtual assistant can handle, right? If you do not know what a virtual assistant can handle, go over here to rankfortress.com, go to resources and hit virtual assistants, how to find, manage, and hire virtual assistants. I go over all of that stuff where it's also available on Amazon, but you have to pay for it on Amazon. Right here, I give it away for free. And inside the ebook, I cover everything. You just download it, okay? That's all you got to do. I'm giving it to you for free. So comment below, say, hey, I want the ebook, and I'll send it on over to you. And we go over how to hire, how to find, and how to hire, and how to manage your virtual assistants. And we cover all this. There's a very specific way in which you need to find someone. If you're going to use places like Upwork or Online Jobs or Fiverr or VA agencies, you know, for one of my mentors, Dennis Yu, one of the things he told me, he said, for example, and I learned it from him, was when you put a job on, if you will, Upwork or onlinejobs.ph, put in the job description, make it very detailed, but also put in there and say, hey, reply to me in an email and send me your resume. And in the subject line, put a certain keyword like Daffy Duck. And people say, well, why would you put Daffy Duck or some cartoon character there? Because step one, we're trying to eliminate people that can't even listen to basic directions. Okay. So I go over a lot of this in that ebook. You want to get that? Comment below. Say, hey, William, I want the ebook. Interview and test their skills, set clear expectations, and start with a trial period. You don't go out and just hire someone full time for 3 months or 6 months or whatever, or a year contract. You want to give them a test them on something that's your own asset and see if they actually can follow directions. How good are they? Because a lot of people will lie on their resumes and say they are something they're not. Same thing with VA agencies. Sometimes they'll lie and say they're something they're not. They'll say they have a facility and a full workplace and all this wonderful stuff. You need to have a video tour, walkthrough of their facility like we do here at Rank Fortress. All right, so why are VAs such a smart investment? We went over this cost savings. I know some virtual assistants going to be pissed off at me and tell me, say, well, you're trying to tell everybody you can get virtual assistants for cheap. Well, give me an example. If your virtual assistants cost you $5.50 an hour, right, in the United States, that's what they pay, whatever, really cheap, versus $12 to $17 an hour. That's like a third of the cost. So it's saving them a lot of money. The reason why business in the first place looks to outsource is generally to save money. So I'm just telling people be truthful. Now, a lot of people will say, for example, and we'll come back to this. I'm going to zoom out real quick. A lot of people will come to me and say, well, William, you're saying basically that the Filipino people don't deserve the same amount of money that someone in the United States deserves. That's not what I'm saying. So there is something called cost of living. It's basic finance, basic, if you will, economics. If someone lives in Jacksonville, Florida in the United States, they make something totally different than someone in Los Angeles, California, or in DC, Washington. It is cost of living based on where you are living at, because the cost of living and your expenses go down based on where you're living at. So when you're living in the Philippines or India or Bangladesh, wherever, right, your cost of living is extremely low compared that to another country. As such, you will only make a certain amount of money. Why? Because your cost of living is lower, right? If we want our cost of living to go, if we want, if you will, you want to make as much as someone in the United States, what winds up happening, basic economics, is cost of living needs to go up as well. Why? Because as a country becomes more and more developed, what's going to happen is your cost of living will go up. So for example, even in the Philippines, if you live in Manila, your cost of living is totally different than if you're in Surigao, Siargao, Boracay, etc. Cebu, cost of living's up. Zamboanga City, cost of living, different places. The bigger cities in the Philippines, cost of living is going to be higher than somewhere in the province like Pagadian, where we were originally from, Zamboanga del Sur, the smaller provinces. Cost of living is extremely low. Do you honestly expect to make the same amount as someone that lives in Manila or the United States? If you do, you're daydreaming. It's not going to happen. Okay. Now, that being said, want to make more money? You need to learn as a virtual assistant to prove your value. If you can prove your value, what you're bringing to the table to a customer or to a potential client, they'll pay no matter where you live at. Okay. But I'm telling you, the reason why most people outsource to the Philippines or any country or outsource whatsoever is they're trying to save money because the cost of living is lower in these other countries. Okay. Now, let's go back to our summary. To summarize everything we've learned, virtual assistants are a smart investment. They are not a cost. Why? They're saving you money, just like we talked about, because they're reducing overhead, payroll, and office expenses. Easily scalable. I can expand operations without increasing fixed costs like, payroll. Time efficiency, it frees up hours. Imagine I can have virtual assistants working during their daytime or nighttime. Can't do that in the United States though, for the most time. People want a set schedule, want to work at 9 to 5 a.m., during the daytime. And that is actually Filipino nighttime. So we can actually flip flop. You can almost have people working 24/7, 365 days a year if you wanted to. So time efficiency also frees up your hours for high impact business activities. I don't know if you know this, but generally it's called the 80-20 rule. There's only about 20% of the things a business owner does, such as marketing and sales, right, that actually move the needle or increase the bottom line. Most business owners spend 80% of their other time doing shit that doesn't matter, such as emails, social media management, replying to people in comments on social media, etc. Running errands, managing their calendar, all that shit. All of it can be outsourced. I had a mentor told me, listen, if you want to know what your time is worth and what you should be charging, here's how to do it. So you break out a calculator, break out one of these things, and let's just say, for example, you want to make $1 million a year. You want to make $1 million a year. So, and you're going to work, let's just say you're not going to work 365 days a year. I hope not, but let's just say you work, you're working 40 hours a week, right? Or you're working 40 hours a week, and there's 52 weeks in a year. You're going to work 2,080 hours, if you will, a year, right? That's what you're going to work. But you want to make that $1 million a year. You need to divide that by 2080. So your time is worth, if you want to make that million, it's about 500 plus an hour, right? So any task that is not worth your time, if you're making that $1 million, that's what you want, and there's 52 weeks in a year, right? You should be pulling in $19,000 a week, right? And if you divided that by 40 hours a week, your time is worth just about $500 an hour. So if you're doing, I don't care if it's cooking, cleaning, answering emails, social media management, replying to people, messages, whatever, booking airline tickets, any of that. If you're spending your time doing it, you're not saving money. You are spending it and losing it. Why? Because that task is actually costing you $480 or almost $500 an hour. If you divided there's 60 minutes an hour, your time's worth a lot. It's worth $8 a minute. Okay. And if you're spending your time doing stupid little tasks instead of outsourcing, thinking you're saving, you're not. You're losing money. Okay. So outsource. Come to someone like us at rankfortress.com. Global talent access. You can find experts in different industries at competitive rates, flexible work arrangements, pay for what you need, hourly, part-time, and full-time. So I hope I answered a lot of your questions. I have had people ask me, it's like, how much should I be paying for a virtual assistant? And I tell them all the time, well, this depends. I mean, it can range anywhere from $200 on up to well over $1,000. Just depends on how skilled they are. Once again, I go over a lot of that in my ebook, which if you just comment ebook, I'll send that over to you for free. If you would rather not have to manage your own staff, your own virtual assistants or remote staff, there's an option called managed virtual assistants, what we offer at rankfortress.com. And once again, if you want the spreadsheet of all the different type of virtual assistants we offer, simply comment below and say, hey, I want the spreadsheet, and I will send you the spreadsheet. The spreadsheet is this right here, which we go over all this right here. So we offer everything from web design, e-commerce, lead generation, go high level, Facebook ads, Google ads, social media, on-page SEO, off-page SEO, data entry, etc. If you want the ebook, just go to my website at rankfortress.com, click resources, and click virtual assistants, how to find, hire, and manage virtual assistants, and click download for free. Or if you want to buy it on Amazon, you can go there as well. Now, that being said, if you are not in Rank Fortress Academy, make sure to join and click this button right here. It says join Rank Fortress Academy. If you want to talk to me about virtual assistant options or your business and get a good plan going, click speak to William, and I will go on a phone call with you and we'll make a game plan for you. I am simply here to help you guys. I appreciate you guys. You guys have a great day and be blessed. Thank you for giving me your time, and thank you for attending today's webinar. I will see you tomorrow morning. You have a great one and be blessed.